Most recently, we all know that Proposition 207 has been legalized for adults over 21 to smoke marijuana recreationally. This proposition has been in the works for a few years. I just want to outline a few things first. That the proposition would provide. One is it is to impose a 16% excise tax on the retail sale of marijuana and marijuana products. Also, the proposition would establish a process to expunge law enforcement and court records related to marijuana-related drug offenses. Also, there's supposed to be like $45 million from the marijuana fund that is supposed to go to the Teachers Academy, public health, traffic enforcement, more education on legalizing marijuana, and again for the criminal records, and make it a lighter sentence for less drug offenses. We all have everyone has an opinion on it, but I definitely want to provide the opposition and supporting parties in their argument. So some of the benefits for pro-legalization arguments. Of course, the tax, and they anticipate maybe $6 billion per year in revenue, reducing the prison population overcrowding for nonviolent offenses. It's supposed to also lower law enforcement costs. Also, it's supposed to increase like 500,000 new jobs across the U.S. That is, if each state would support the legalization of marijuana. Some of the opposing arguments or the opposition would be legalizing marijuana at a state level would, when the drug is still illegal under federal law, creates problems for state lawmakers, businesses, and the citizens. They also believe that it would increase the rates in car crashes, so the insurance rates would go up. I mean, it would probably, it could lead to increase in various different insurances. Impaired driving. It is also to believe that it will lead to more people coming to work under the influence, decreasing productivity in the workplace. It's increasingly would be accessible to the youth, ultimately resulting in long-term health risk and possible overdose. And also, they believe it can increase crime. So these are just a few of the different arguments surrounding medical marijuana, Proposition 207. There's also been some other studies that have surrounded this subject. In one study, one study was completed that found evidence that there is a combination of beer and marijuana and together have found that the cost of beer is lower because of the marijuana use and drinking beer at the same time. That beer consumption is actually lowered because the two are being used together. There's been studies in Colorado and Utah supporting this fact. Also, they believe there is I should correct my verbiage. I should say there is a belief, or maybe the opposing side believes that that the marijuana will decrease, or alcohol will decrease in productivity because more people are using marijuana, that is, it being recreational. So the opposing side believes that legalizing marijuana could reduce the risk factors and fatalities and driving and traffic fatalities and injuries as a result that less alcohol is being consumed. More people are using marijuana recreationally, so then that will ultimately cut down on the injuries and driving. I'm going to look further into these in both sides, so you can ultimately make your decision into which would be more beneficial, having a recreational marijuana or it still just being maybe medically prescribed for medical purposes. So more will be revealed as I continue to do the research on this subject. I would like to provide extensive research, so some of my resources will include studies and measurements that provide validity for both sides. So that's my my argument, or that's the policy that is being argued, and I will provide more information. Thank you.